You're listening to the Actors Resource with Alice Kwan, a podcast for actors and improvisers, with interviews from entertainment industry experts.
Hi, everybody. Thank you for joining us on the Actors Resource Podcast. This is absolutely amazing that today our special guest is Tom Malloy. Tom Malloy, who is an actor, writer, and producer, along with his company, Trick Candle Productions, are known for their quality independent films that span a variety of genres. Tom has most recently produced #Screamers, a horror film that was in theaters in April of 2018 and has twice been called the best found footage movie of all time, as well as Shattered, Hero of the Underworld, Fairhaven, and the teen drama Ashley, which was in theaters in 2013 and is now on VOD everywhere. The roster of films written and produced by Malloy over the years also includes the 2009 romantic comedy Love and Dancing, which was directed by Rob Iskov. And there's like tons of other names, so you're just going to have to IMDb Tom if you want to see all the list of other additional credits and all the people he's worked with. But a little bit more about Tom Malloy is that he has also produced the World Championships of Country Dance with Robert Royston for GAC television. This was the first time a country dancing competition was ever broadcast on television. This is awesome. Recent television projects for the company include the Amazon TV series Midtown, which is now in its second season. Congratulations.
Thank you.
As well as the TV pilot The Fuzz, which was directed by Art Wolf, who also directed the pilot for Seinfeld and starred Malloy, Peter Jason, and Gregory Harrison. Lastly, Malloy's unique ability to both write projects and raise the funding for them has been a primary factor in the success of the company. In fact, Malloy shares his expertise on the subject in his best-selling book about independent film financing, Bankroll. It has 2 editions and was considered the gold standard of indie film financing. In 2014, he partnered with distribution expert Jason Brubaker to create the Film Finance Guide. Currently, Bankroll has been converted to a video series at www.bankrollyourmovie.com. Malloy is also the president and co-founder of Glass House Distribution, an independent film distribution company that launched in 2015 and reps films and documentaries across all genres. Okay, wow, Tom.
Wow, that's a great intro. That's it. Very good. Thank you so much.
I just want to say, first of all, like, super honored, a little bit nervous, actually, too, having you on. This is amazing.
That's great.
Yeah, so, like, since this podcast is primarily directed towards people in the industry, of course, but specifically towards actors and improvisers, maybe we can get started with asking you a little bit more about your background as an actor and then go into how that goes into filmmaking. I mean, did you start off as an actor first?
Oh, yeah. It's I'd been doing it, film-wise. My first role was a movie called Gravesend back in 98, I believe. And there was, we improvised the whole movie. The film, we used to go up to a street corner in Brooklyn, and there'd be a gang of thugs, and we'd be like, "You guys want to shoot a fight scene?" They'd be like, "Yeah," and then big fights would break out every night. But when we were done, we got Oliver Stone to put his name on it, and I was like the second or third biggest role, and it was in theaters. So, yeah, that started everything. Yeah.
That's crazy. Okay, so, like, how did that even happen? Like, so many actors, like, when they're first starting out, they're like, they don't even know where to go or how to start. Like, how did that, are you just really lucky? Was this in New York? How did this even happen?
Well, it's a combination of luck, being in the right place at the right time, but persistence, because it's like somebody could look at that and say I was lucky, but then I could look at it and be like, well, why am I not, I'm not an A-list star yet, having starred in a bunch of movies. So it's like, and there were some unlucky things. So luck is an up and down kind of thing. Let's put it that way. But in that case, it was, I used to hang out in Little Italy all the time, and it just so turned out that the waiter was an aspiring director at this one restaurant I was at with my family, and we just hit it off. And then I auditioned for his movie. But, that was kind of a, again, that's really where the exciting, like, fun story goes. And I mean, that guy, by the way, has been working in movies since. He's, at least TV he's been working in. He wrote, like, what's considered to be the best episode of Sopranos. Wow. And he was the original, like, head writer on Rescue Me, and then I think he was the head writer of Revenge. So he's been working. We're still friends all these years. We're the only two that are still in the business from the entire cast. But, I just, again, that was a luck. But, after that movie, when I didn't become a household name as an actor, I just kind of started learning every other aspect of the business. But as an actor, I mean, I'm still casting roles. Improviser. I graduated from the I.O. West comedy school in Los Angeles, and so I still do stage shows with a comedy partner, two different ones. One's Scott Baker, the other's a guy named Tommy Bechtold, and so we do improv shows, and so still do, performing is still my favorite thing.
Yeah. Oh my God, that's so cool. So, where are you? Were you originally in New York, and are you bi-coastal now, or what?
Yes, I'm completely bi-coastal now. I was originally from Jersey, and then New York City was the first place I moved, and then about 2007, I moved to Los Angeles, and now I'm completely, bi-coastal. Last year, because I have a place in upstate New York. It's not the city, so I have an upstate New York as a family there, and in Los Angeles. But last year I did 15 times back and forth. I think one year I did 17 times back and forth. So I'm always in the air. Yeah.
So your main home is in New York, though? Like,
well, I mean, no, it kind of is, but it's really, I mean, my heart is in L.A., but I would say if you want to do it as far as how much time I spend, I spend more time in New York than I do in L.A. right now, at least for the next 2-3 years or so.
Okay, gotcha.
That's a kid thing. That has nothing to do with business-wise, yeah.
That's because you have kids.
Yeah, kids, a divorce, a single dad of 2 kids, so it's like that's the main reason for that, or else I'd be in L.A. full-time.
Gotcha. Okay, so you're there for your kids. Okay. So something I wanted to ask you, you had mentioned like you started after you had this, somehow got Oliver Stone on this production, and it's so cool that you're still friends with the director, and now he's still, that you two are still in the industry. You said after that you started to learn more about the business and what you could learn about it. What were some of the things that you learned that maybe you could share that could help people, navigate, because there's so much, right, in the acting field. What are some of the things that you learned that you think could be really helpful?
Well, I mean, I'd say that these days, and this is kind of what I preach on my the online courses and everything I put together, is that the technology has become to such a point that you can make your own projects. Mm-hmm. Meaning, years ago there was 35 millimeter cameras or even Super 16, and to do that, you had to have a certain level of money. Even just to get a 35 millimeter film crew, you had to have a certain level of money. So there was a gateway. Yeah. Now you can go to Best Buy and get a camera for $1,000 that looks as good as Super 16. Mm-hmm. So, but that being said, that doesn't mean that anybody can do it. Unfortunately, that opened a floodgate of everybody doing it. I think that the key is to do something like that, but make it as professional as possible. And if you can make it as professional as possible, then you can have a really nice calling card. So these days, there's no, if we're going back 20 years, you're kind of stuck. I can't put myself in a movie, but now you can. So that's the positive thing I would say is go out and create content, and people can now view that content, and you can prove yourself right on the screen.
Right. Now, when you say professional, like, if somebody's new, how will they be able to determine what's considered professional versus what's considered not professional?
Well, that's subjective in a way, but I mean, look, the key is using. All right, so there's a lot of answers to that question: what's professional and what's not. Like, say, just recently, like a filmmaker friend of mine had wanted to make a film and didn't have much of a budget, had a certain amount of budget, but it was like a little bit under $100,000, for a feature, and that's tight. Mm-hmm. But, so he could have chose to make that with no stars, and he kind of hooked up with my right-hand person, Michelle Alexandria, who's works for my company as the head of international sales. We develop films together. We've produced films together. So he met with her, and she advised him on getting the right cast. So bottom line is he did have some newer people in there, but then he had 2 TV stars and even had Denise Richards came down. I think she did a 2-day shoot. And so you're getting all of that for that amount. So put his film up versus somebody else that's like, well, I'm just making a no-name drama. You know what I mean? And that's the mistake. So right away you're working with better people. So that's one thing, is that try to cast yourself and surround yourself with professionals. That's one thing. The second thing is, look at the cameras and the sound, which sound is arguably more important. You just want to get people that have done it before. You want to get people that know what they're doing, that they're professionals, that they're working. Mm-hmm. But, not to make the answer this longest answer ever, but, when I started, the first movie I did was that I produced was called The Attic. And I raised the money for it. It was about maybe $600,000, and it was I got the director of Pet Sematary, and it was Elizabeth Moss and myself and Alexander Daddario. And so the bottom line was I put myself as a good supporting role. I think I was the second or third biggest role. I think I got second billing, but right under Elizabeth. So, and she proved on screen that I was just as good. In fact, the movie kind of got panned, and I was one of the only things that got good reviews in the movie. So it was like. Yeah, and so look, that's an example of working with the right people and being able to kind of put up or shut up at the end of the day.
Okay, so did you write that, or you just produced it?
No, I wrote it. I wrote it, and look at
holy crap.
Yeah, well, look, as a writer, I've now written 30-something screenplays, 31 or 32, what? And I've optioned, sold, or made into movies 24 of those. So I'm in the guild for 10 plus years, and that all factors into when I kind of learned everything about the movie business. Yeah. And so it's for anybody that listening in the future says, "Well, I'm not a writer." Well, you can get scripts. You can reach out. You can option scripts for $0 and just try to get a great script, get the rights to it, so that you can try to raise money and make it. But most of what I teach is to people, how to raise money so that they could make their own rules and make their movie and be a star of it. So yeah.
Yeah. Oh my God, that's amazing. Okay, so you wrote this. Okay, all right. So basically, when you first started, before you created a production company, so you were acting. You started to learn about the business a little bit. You realized currently, in today's time, we can make our own content, but make it professional. So if possible, work with other professionals, which means you still need to create some kind of budget. And what I've been noticing is that I've been talking to a lot of filmmakers, and that is one of the biggest hurdles, is finding and attracting and getting the funding for their projects. Do you have you have any insight to add about that?
Well, yeah, that's the key. I always preach the golden rule, like the he or she who has the gold makes the rules, and if you can get that, you can basically leverage a career from that. But I mean, look, not to make it into I'll try to give some tips, but not to make it into a big advertisement, but this is exactly what I teach. And funny enough, we have a new membership site that's, all those products that you mentioned, the Film Finance Guide, they cost money. I mean, people had to invest in their career. In fact, the Bankroll is a 5+ hour master course that costs $1,000, and so, but it teaches, but would you pay $1,000 to learn everything and basically have a career? But the good news is we said, you know what, let's stop selling these different, and by we, I mean myself and Jason Brewmaker, who's kind of big in the distribution world. And so we have a monthly membership site where people get access to everything, including that, for a monthly cost. So that, you can go on there, you can literally learn everything.
Wait, okay, what is the site, and how much money does it cost? It's
Filmmaking Stuff HQ, so headquarters. So Filmmaking Stuff was Jason's brand for a while, and so Filmmaking Stuff HQ is where you'll get everything, and you'll see it. Now there's 3 options. I mean, the 2 monthly options are $47 a month to get access to a certain amount, and then $97 a month gets you, the master class, and then it also gets you the private Facebook group, and there's even calls that Jason and I both jump on monthly that, we basically answer specific questions about movies. So, and we just launched it. We just launched the membership site. So it's like, you're doing something like a gym or, a membership to a dance, ballroom dancing or jiu-jitsu or whatever your monthly thing is, you look at this and you go, all right, it's less than that, and kind of, and especially the $47 a month, the $97 might be around the same price, but there's your movie career right there. If you can learn all this stuff, you would definitely have a movie career. So yeah.
So what exactly is in this membership site? What exactly are you teaching? Acting? Are you teaching? You said you're teaching how to get funding, but
yeah.
Do you teach acting? Do you teach how to direct? Do you teach how to write? What specifically is in this membership site?
Okay, so the membership site is specific on the nuts and bolts of filmmaking, not how to direct or act or or write. Even we're kind of assuming that's on you and that you're at a certain level, and you just want to know how to get the overall picture is from an idea, from a thought in your head, all the way to selling that movie or getting it released theatrically. So it's that's development, and then you get to the funding, and then pre-production, then making the actual movie production, then marketing it, then distributing it. And selling it, so that's everything. So from there, there's all different modules. I mean, the masterclass itself is 83 videos, and that's the 5+ hour one. But then there's little things like a module like just produce your own independent TV series, and then that'll be maybe a 2-hour course on that with a bunch of videos, and that's just for producing your TV series. There's business plans. Movie Plan Pro, which is a business plan for raising money. So basically it's a plug-and-play business plan that you can take to raise money. So there's all stuff like that, but it's all geared towards the nuts and bolts of making a movie.
Gotcha. That's awesome. Okay, cool. Movie or TV series is what as well.
Yep, exactly. Yeah, exactly. Or even documentary. We have a ton of documentary filmmakers that are interested. So that sign up and they're on our calls and stuff like that. So any of those things, putting something together content-wise.
Okay, cool. And so it's basically nuts and bolts. Back to acting though, when somebody is creating this, if it's, let's say they're an actor and they want to do what you did and they want to start creating their own content, how do they reach out to name stars or even working actors that might not be a quote unquote name per se yet, but that has some good credibility? How would somebody reach out to somebody like that to work on their project?
Well, there's a lot of ways there. It's that I can't say that there's only one way to do it, because I could tell you ways that I've done it, in the past. But I will say that it all starts with the quality of the script. The quality of the script attracts so many people. If you got a great script, and I don't mean a great, I mean a killer script where people read it and they're like, "Damn, this is awesome."
I want to be involved. I want to do this.
And that's what's incredible is that some of the biggest actors that I know are so in love with scripts that when the script comes, they're like, "I'll do anything. You want to use my name to raise money? Blah blah blah." They literally would love to be involved. They want those projects. So that's one of the original stars, is the strength of the script. But I mean, look, there's so many things that I do. I have a big kind of celebrity circle. I play in all these celebrity poker tournaments because I'm kind of one of them now, and one of the celebrity poker players. And it's I remember one movie I cast with just the celebrity poker players that I play with, and all namey people and all that stuff. But at the end of the day, there's no one way, but partnering is a great way. Meaning, you hire a producer for a project, and you bring that person. So say you were able to raise money or raise a little bit of money, and then you were able to just convince a producer that's produced a lot of movies before to jump on. Now you have somebody that's produced films before, work with talent. They may be able to bring talent. They might be able to bring a director who's known. Now you bring that director on, and he or she has cast, that they've worked for in the past, or worked with in the past. And so there's a process there, but the key is it all starts with the cool project.
Okay, the script.
Yeah. Yep, the script is king.
But also it sounds like relationships, right? It sounds like a little, it sounds like you have a relationship with somebody who'd be a great director, and you show them your script, and your friend who's the director is like, "Hey, I love this. I want to work on it." And you also have some money, and then your director friend is like, "Hey, I know somebody who might also be interested." So it does sound like relationships are involved. Would you?
are definitely the key, and that's really how you get stuff going. But if somebody was to come to me and want to be a first-time director or something like that, they never directed before, they'd have to bring something of value. And
Right.
what can that value be? That value could be money.
Yeah.
That value could be a star. If you go, hey, I'm Brad Pitt's best friend. He said he'd do anything. I'm involved in it. It was like your value just went through the roof as far as being a first-time director. You know what I mean? And so, bringing value, and a lot of times the value comes from the relationships. I joke about poker, but it's like I started playing poker because I was invited to my movie Love and Dancing had come out. It was me, Amy Smart, Betty White.
Yeah.
And
so cool.
Yeah, I got to dance. Yeah, I got to dance with Betty White.
Yeah.
And anyway, I was invited to this World Poker Tour Celebrity Invitational, and
thank you so much for listening to the Actors Resource Podcast. This is part 1 of 2 with Tom Malloy. Please check out the next episode where he's going to be talking about fear and how to overcome it, as well as networking and other really awesome stuff. Please send me an email with any feedback or questions at holla, HOLLA, at Alice Kwong, KWONG, actor, ACTOR.com. Holla at alicekwongactor.com. And thanks so much again for listening. See you next time.